If there's one piece of advice I could go back and give myself as a medical student, as well as any medical students getting ready to rotate through their third year, it would be this. Focus on being an asset. This applies whether you're a medical student, a resident, or really any role that involves working with others. Everybody you work with, try to make their life easier. No one teaches you this directly as a medical student or an intern, and I don't understand why. Looking back, I was definitely not the best medical student, but now as a resident, I see it so clearly. When I have med students working with me, there are some where I actually miss having them around afterwards because they were so great. Most people aren't that memorable, to be honest, and then there are a few who kind of slow you down and get in your way, and that's honestly just the truth of it from the other side. Everyone can improve and change the category that they're in, and most do as time goes on and they become more experienced. But hopefully this advice helps you guys out to shorten the process. The great medical students that I miss, it's almost never their knowledge base that impresses me. If you made it to med school, you have the brains and intellectual ability to learn the medicine. That's what med school and residency are for. But med school and residency don't teach personality, work ethic, or common sense. When you're on your rotations and electives, this is what preceptors and residents are truly assessing you for. All the medical and surgical stuff, that's what residency's for, and that's when they'll teach it to you. Every time, the best med students go above and beyond what they're expected to do in terms of being valuable to who they're working with. And again, this applies for residents as well. I started applying this more as I started residency, but I was blind to it during medical school. Having lists printed for the team, gathering procedure supplies, having charts pulled up, all this kind of little stuff is what sets people apart. You don't have to have even gone through medical school to do these things, but you do need to make a deliberate, mindful effort to make things better for everyone around you. You need to be invested in the work that you're doing and participate as a member of that team. You're there to become a part of that physician's team for the day and have a common goal with the team. You're not there to just watch the clock, even though it may feel like it sometimes. Show up to every rotation every day prepared. It doesn't matter if you absolutely hate the specialty and you're never going to pursue it. For those 4 to 6 weeks, pretend that you're the best specialist in the city for that field. You're paying to be there and someone is allowing you to literally make their day less efficient in an effort to teach you. So make the most of your money and time and make sure that you're showing up with at least a base level of knowledge. You won't know everything and no one expects you to, but you should at least know the bread and butter of the specialty you rotate on. If there's a patient list available the day prior, then have an idea of the conditions that people are coming in with. Treat every patient like your own and pretend that you are the attending physician. A lot of medical students will just interview a patient and then regurgitate that information to the resident or the staff. The same thing happens when a nurse calls about a concern. They just pass it on to the next person and nothing more. But this is a complete waste of your time. A high school kid with an average IQ can probably chat with the patient and gather a decent enough history. Your learning and the reason you're in med school isn't to gather information. It's to put that information together in the context of a particular patient and try to solve the problem. That's literally what your job is going to be in a few years anyways. You won't have the right answer many times as a young medical student, but you need to set up that framework as soon as possible. You have the luxury of having layers of protection and backup around you right now, so you can afford to be wrong. Take advantage of it and learn as much as you can, because I'll tell you what, that luxury diminishes very quickly as you start and progress through residency. The best medical students I've worked with, they efficiently tell me their history and physical, then they put together at least something as a potential plan. I don't care at all if it's right or wrong, but putting in that effort and treating that patient as their own is what makes the difference. They'll either be right or it'll be a teaching point, but in any case it shows engagement and the fact that they care. When I was on my OB rotation as a resident, the clinic and all my preceptors enjoyed having me around. It was because I applied this mentality despite how much I didn't enjoy OB. I treated every patient like my own. I had a plan in mind for them. I showed up at every delivery, and it was like I was working with those people as a colleague with a little bit of backup, rather than just existing in their space, watching them work and slowing them down. So just start pretending right now that you're the attending and you're on your own, and what would you do? Because again, you have the luxury of being wrong and there being no consequences for that. So regardless of where you are in your training, make it a conscious effort to become an asset to the people around you. Be kind, be hardworking, and a pleasure to be around. It'll end up serving you in the end. Obviously, don't be taken advantage of and be sent on coffee runs all the time, but you get the idea. It's also easy to become annoying with this and start stepping on toes, so you really got to find the balance. The reality is that med school is a conveyor belt and the lectures and exams are the same for everybody. What's going to set you apart is going to be your personality, your work ethic, and your ability to provide value to the people around you. Don't pretend to be someone you're not, but make every effort to be helpful and take pride in your work because your name is on it. Hopefully that was helpful, guys. I wish you all the best. Be sure to check the description for our newsletter and whatever else we have going on, and I'll chat with you next time.